Welcome to Florida's newest mega resort.
With over 22 waterfront acres,
785 premier guest rooms,
20 spots for drinks and dining,
the largest rooftop pool in all of Florida, and
the biggest resort pool in Florida.
The Sunseeker Resort has a lot to offer. We're Jamie and Skylar, and in this video, we're going to be taking you on a full guided tour of this brand new property, including our Harbor View stateroom.
But we only have a few days to show you everything this massive resort has to offer, so we're going to get this tour started right now.
Whether you're staying at the Sunseeker or just visiting to enjoy the shops and restaurants, you'll start off in the lobby. It's here that you'll find the reception and concierge desk, access to the parking garage, elevators leading up to the staterooms, an escalator leading up to the second floor, and access to the food hall and the rest of the resort.
Right next to the lobby is the Harbor Yards Food Hall, and here's where you'll find 11 of the resort's 20 food and drink establishments. Now we know that at least 3 of them you can get coffee, and that's what we're needing this morning, so we'll see you at the coffee shop.
While Skylar decided to grab his coffee from the Riverfront Roast, I went next door to the patisserie, where while awaiting my coffee order, I could browse through all of the delicious looking pastries and sweets.
So I got a latte from the coffee shop and Jamie got a cappuccino from the patisserie. They're both really good. They both use the same types of machines and the same coffee, so you really can't go wrong with either. I gotta admit though, I was really tempted to get a Bloody Mary from the cocktail and wine bar. They looked amazing, but since we got a lot of filming today to do and I gotta be on my A game, I opted for the latte instead.
Now that we've had our coffee, we are going to head to the northwest end of the property, and that's where you're going to find a couple of their signature restaurants as well as the very impressive Reflections Pool and Tiki Bar. But don't worry, we are going to stop back through this food hall a little bit later to show you more of the establishments and what we've tried here at the resort.
Just outside of the food hall, we passed by the Copper Cask Beer Garden on the way to the Reflections Pool area. And those of you who know this channel likely already know that we'd be returning to this spot later. But for now, we have 2 restaurants and a bar to show you, along with one of the most enormous pools you'll ever see.
Now, if you're just visiting the resort and aren't actually staying here, you can still access the bars, restaurants, and shops located on the promenade, which actually wraps all the way around the Reflections Pool. But if you actually want to enjoy the massive Reflections Pool, you do have to be staying here at the resort.
Speaking of which, we stayed at the Sunseeker in late February of 2024, just over 2 months after its December grand opening. And as we expected from a 2-month-old property, everything looks brand new. But what we weren't expecting was just how stunning this entire property was, especially the Reflections pool deck. And while we show you a little more of this area, we'd like to give a big thank you to Sunseeker for hosting us on our stay and allowing us to share this absolutely beautiful resort with you.
Now, depending on where you look online, some say that this is the largest pool in all of Southwest Florida, and other places say this is the largest resort pool in all of Florida. Now, we are not exactly sure how it stacks up, but we can confirm that it is absolutely massive.
Now we should mention that in addition to the main Reflections pool, the ground level pool deck also has a smaller infinity pool and a really good sized hot tub. We should also mention that while it was quite sunny when we visited, it was also quite windy and a bit chilly. As a result, the pools were usually not at all busy during our stay, and early in the morning, Skylar was even able to have the entire infinity pool and even the entire Reflections pool to himself. Now, in addition to the pools and hot tub, the Reflections pool deck also includes a pool shop with drinks, snacks, swimwear and accessories, restrooms and lockers, cabanas for rent, and the Reflections pool bar. Here you can order a variety of drinks and small bites, and while the interior pool bar is accessible to resort guests only, the exterior pool bar that sits along the promenade is open to the public as well. While the Reflections pool is surely one of the most impressive pools we've ever seen, some may argue that it's not even the most impressive pool on this resort. To see the pool that gives this one a run for its money, be sure to stick around to the end of this video, but for now, we still have more to show you along the Reflections pool deck.
So on one side of the Reflections pool, you'll find the Reflections bar, which is obviously a great place to grab a drink. On the other side, you'll find 2 of the signature restaurants in the Waterside Table and the Blue Lime restaurant. Now, we actually had a chance to dine at both of those spots during our stay here. We had brunch at the Waterside Table, which in our opinion has the very best views of any restaurant here on the resort. And we had a really unique dinner experience at the Blue Lime restaurant where we tried a dish that neither of us had ever tried before. And we will show you a little more of both of those experiences right now.
Located at the far northwest end of the resort, just off of the Reflections Pool, Waterside Table and Blue Lime account for 2 of the 7 signature restaurants at the Sunseeker. On our stay, we enjoyed brunch at Waterside Table, where the food and the service were great, but the views were even better. After some time browsing the menu, we decided on our order, which started off with a crab cake appetizer.
So we did start with a crab cake. Oh, it looks very tender. Yeah, it's a good crab cake.
Yeah, it's very tender, but it also has a little bit of char on it, so it's a little bit crispy. I also really like the sauce, so yeah, I'd recommend the crab cake.
Not too far behind the crab cake came our entree orders, which definitely had our mouths watering.
So I ordered the fish and chips, and as you can probably see, it is massive and looks really good. The main reason I actually ordered it though is because it comes with a Scotch bonnet tartar sauce, and I recently just discovered Scotch bonnet peppers, and they're pretty much my new favorite thing, so I am very excited to try this. It's very crunchy, the fish is very tender, and that tartar sauce does have a little bit of kick. You can taste the Scotch bonnet just a little bit, but it's very good.
Now, I just went with the burger because sometimes I'm just craving a burger. It did come with a side of sweet potato fries. Those were crispy and really good. I wouldn't say the burger itself is anything special, but I do really like the special sauce that comes on it. I think it was a Sunseeker like aioli sauce. It's tangy and very delicious.
Overall, we were very satisfied with our meal, but also agreed that this would be a great place to grab a drink from the bar to enjoy out on the deck with a view of the harbor. Now right above Waterside Table is where you'll find Blue Lime, which serves up coastal Mexican cuisine and had just opened around a week prior to our visit. We arrived to find that both the bar and the dining room were packed, but thankfully we had a reservation. It didn't take us too long to decide on our orders, as both the food and drink menus had some unique choices that we couldn't wait to try. Our meal started off with complimentary chips and salsa. The chips were fresh and the salsa was not at all spicy but quite good, and fresh tableside guacamole was also available. Our drink choice for the evening was known as the Fire with a Y and included tequila, chili liqueur, coconut, and tajin. We gotta say, we'd never had a drink quite like this one, but it was a fantastic blend of sweet and spicy, and one that we'd both order again. Now, as much as we enjoyed that drink, this was without a doubt the star of the show, and probably our favorite thing that we ate during our time at the Sunseeker. This massive dish, known as molcajete del mar, comes served in a hot stone bowl, where it actually continues to cook at your table. The dish included Gulf prawns, snow crab legs, octopus, avocado, salsa verde, Mexican street corn, cactus, cilantro lime rice, crispy onion, toasted lime, and house-made tortillas. Now, neither of us had any idea how to actually go about eating this meal, but we eventually determined that it was best to eat the octopus, crab, and street corn by itself, and to wrap everything else up in one of the freshly made tortillas. Overall, the food, drinks, and service at Blue Lime were all fantastic, and if you visit on a weekend, you may be able to enjoy a live musician while you dine as well. And if you happen to enjoy tequila, we'd say this place has you covered there too.
Now that we've shown you everything around the Reflections pool deck, we are going to go back to the main tower and share some of the interior features, including a tour of our room.
Back in the main tower, not far from the front desk, is where you'll find the escalator leading up to the second floor.
On the second floor is where you're going to find the convention center, and I sure would be complaining if I had to attend a work conference here, but I'm sure most of you are probably not watching to see the convention center, so we are going to head one floor up to show you the gym and the spa.
Now, like most of our other resort stays, we had high hopes for getting to the gym during our time at the Sunseeker. And while we never did find the time to work out in the gym, we were still quite impressed with what it had to offer. We found the gym to have a variety of modern cardio equipment and weight machines, as well as free weights, a good-sized yoga room, and of course, lots of great views. We learned that the gym also offers fitness classes daily, which come included in your booking at the Sunseeker. Just down the hall from the gym is where you'll find the spa and salon. It's in this area that you'll also find some really cool wall art, as well as the bridal suite, which can be rented out for weddings or other events.
Now that we've shown you the gym and the spa, we're heading up to the very top floor to give you a tour of our room.
Welcome to our premium harbor view room located on the 8th floor of the Sunseeker Resort. Now, as soon as you walk in, to your right, you'll find a barn door which opens up into a very spacious bathroom. Now, this does feature dual vanities and a nice sized walk-in shower. Now, this bathroom does come stocked with lather toiletries, and I'm actually really excited to try their body wash, shampoo, and conditioner. Now, before we move on, I want to point out that there is a hairdryer below the sinks and also a large light-up mirror above them. And I almost forgot, there is a spot to hang your cozy Sunseeker robe. Now, outside of the bathroom, you will find a full-length mirror to the left and a closet to your right. Now, thankfully, the closet is a good size because this is where we have put all of our stuff in order to keep the rest of the room looking nice for this tour. But we did want to point out that there is an iron, as well as a full-size ironing board and a luggage rack. Just around the corner from the closet is where you're going to find your thermostat as well as other settings for the room. We really like that there are 3 different settings for brightness for the lights in the room, and this is also where you can communicate with the staff. So if you want your privacy and don't want anybody entering your room, you can hit the privacy button, but if you need your room freshened up a little bit, you can hit the service button. And this is also where you can adjust the speed of your ceiling fan. Now, over here, you'll find a king-size bed, and on either side of it, you'll find matching nightstands. And there's a few reasons why we really like these nightstands. The first being, it looks like you could charge up to 7 devices on either of them. And also, this is where you're gonna find the safe, and the safe will fit a full-size laptop. On the other side of the room is a small area where you can place some luggage right next to a very long desk. Below the desk is where you'll find 6 soft-closed drawers, as well as the mini fridge. On top of the desk, you will find a Keurig station, your ice bucket, as well as a water bottle. Something really cool about this resort is they have Vero purified water stations located on every floor and also throughout the resort, so that way you can always have purified water in your room. Just above the desk is the 65-inch flat screen TV. It does have a variety of channels to choose from. It's also connected to Google Chromecast. You can also look up information about the resort, so if you're trying to decide where you want to eat, you can look up menu information and hours of operation. There's just a lot of information about the resort that's available at your fingertips. On the other side of the TV is a workstation, just in case you happen to have to work while you're at the Sunseeker. Here's where you'll find the room telephone, another lamp, and even more charging stations. Now, because we have a harbor view room, one of the best features is a view of Charlotte Harbor out of our floor-to-ceiling windows. Now, if after a couple days at the Sunseeker you actually need a break from the sun, this room has you covered because it has 2 different kinds of blinds. The first one significantly reduces the amount of sunlight that comes into the room. The second one almost completely blocks it.
Now, one thing that we really loved about being located on the 8th floor is that we were on the same level as the rooftop pool, the adults-only oasis that we'll be taking you to at the end of this tour.
Now that we've shown you our room, we're gonna head back down to the food hall on the main floor to show you even more of the dining options.
Now, if you enter the food hall from the promenade, you'll first find the half-cracked Tiki Shack to your left. One of the Sunseeker's 7 signature restaurants, this Tiki Shack offers authentic Gulf Coast flavors paired with tropical cocktails and Caribbean vibes. And while we didn't have a chance to eat at this restaurant during our stay, we did drop in one evening to check out a talented local band. Thankfully, we did get a chance to enjoy some of the restaurants that can be found just a few steps away in the food hall. And one of those was Kinderhook Raw Bar and Crab Company, which offers a selection of fish, crab, shellfish, and oysters.
So I got a cup of the crab and lobster bisque from the Raw Bar. It looks great, it smells great. We'll see if it tastes great. Oh yeah, it does.
We also got a side of Old Bay fries. They were made fresh and covered in Old Bay seasoning. I have tried them and they are pretty good, but I think they're gonna be even better dipped in the bisque. Oh yeah, that's where it's at.
Right next to the Raw Bar is where you'll find Daikon Asian Kitchen, your spot at the Sunseeker for Asian stir-fry noodles, poke bowls, and sushi.
Next, we ordered the Mongolian beef stir-fry from the Asian Kitchen behind me, and I can already tell you it's smelling pretty good, and I'm anxious to give it a try. So the beef is both crunchy and tender, and the sauce on it is a nice sweet sauce, but I will say it's not very spicy.
Now, if you're just looking for a quick and tasty snack, Chartisson has you covered with its cured meats, cheeses, and antipasti.
So I got antipasti from the charcuterie place behind me. I still don't know exactly what it is, but it looks healthy and we're really needing something on the healthier side right now, so I'm looking forward to trying it. Yeah, so I guess it's just kind of like a variety of pickled vegetables, but it's pretty good.
While the antipasti is quite tasty, it definitely won't satisfy your sweet tooth. But for that, you can find Charlotte Parlor just a few steps away, serving up gelato, acai bowls, and crepes. And since both Skylar and I absolutely love crepes, there was no way we were leaving the Sunseeker without getting at least one.
So we ordered this lemon and blueberry crepe from the Charlotte Parlor. I can already tell you it's way bigger than we were expecting. We'll see how it tastes. I inhaled a little powdered sugar. I would not recommend that, but it is very good.
There's a lot of filling in this. I have to get a little bit of the whipped cream though on it. There we go. Oh yeah. That was very good.
Now, in addition to all the spots we ate at in the Harbor Yards Food Hall, there's a few we just didn't quite have time to make it to, including Arezzo Craft Pizza Kitchen and its stone-fired pizza, Taqueria Puerto and its delicious-looking salsa bar, Saddle Creek Grill and its all-American eats, and the Brick and Daisy Bar with its wine, cocktails, mimosas, and those amazing-looking Bloody Marys. Now, before we take you outside to visit the last of the Harbor Yard Food Hall establishments, I gotta mention that we did make a late-night return trip to the patisserie, where I finally got to try a dessert that I'd been thinking about since my first visit that morning. And that dessert was this pecan pie cheesecake, which was basically cheesecake baked on top of pecan pie, which I gotta say tasted every bit as good as it sounds. But I wasn't the only one who'd been looking forward to a treat all day long. And for Skylar's, we'd be heading to the beer garden. While Skylar debated which beer to order, I got cozy next to the barside fire pit. Skylar eventually settled on an IPA from Big Storm, a brewery out of our hometown in St. Pete. And since one beer almost always leads to another, he followed it up with a wheat ale from Cigar City out of Tampa.
So if we would have been here for just a couple more days, I think we could have hit all 11 spots at the Harbor Yards Food Hall. But since we were only here for 3 days, we didn't quite make it to all of them, but we are curious which of those 11 spots you'd be most excited to try, so let us know in the comments. But for now, we're going to head to the southwest part of the property to show you what you can find there before heading up to the adults-only rooftop pool and bar.
Just past the food hall are a few storefronts that have not yet been completed, so that means they were not open during our visit, but when you visit in the future, you'll have even more shopping options. Now, there is one store that you can access from this area, and we're going to show it to you right now.
Sunseeker guests can find the Sundry Shop located just off of the food hall and lobby area. Within the shop, you can find grocery items, beer and wine, and a variety of men's and women's clothing. Back out on the promenade is where you'll find 2 more shops, an outdoor bar, and 3 more signature restaurants.
Now this next spot is one of my favorite places on the resort because it's got a great selection of one of my favorite things.
And that thing, which you may have already guessed, is beer. But Allegiant Stadium isn't just a beer bar, as it's one of the resort's 7 signature restaurants and offers a full food menu, lots of space for dining, and some very comfortable seating to catch a game on one of the many big screen TVs. Right next door to Allegiant Stadium is where you'll find Thread's Signature Apparel, which offers a variety of Sunseeker branded merchandise including t-shirts, tank tops and sandals, and hats.
Now, we just checked out the Thread store for the very first time, and we were really impressed with the resort apparel. There were a lot of retro designs that we could see ourselves wearing. Now, there's one more store we're going to take you to, and it's only a few doors down.
And that store is Shore Provisions Grocer and Goods, where inside we found what was basically a small grocery store, with items such as handcrafted soaps, lotions, and skincare products, locally made candles, pharmacy items, a charcuterie section, fresh baked breads, and a variety of beverages, including one of our favorite Tampa Bay area beers.
Now at the far southeast end of the property, you'll find the Vista Point Bar, which as we'll show you has some amazing panoramic views.
And while we show you some of those views, we do also want to mention a major resort perk for golfers, as the Sunseeker does have its own 18-hole golf course, which is exclusive to guests of the resort and accessible via a quick complimentary shuttle ride.
Just past Vista Point is where you'll find the 2 more upscale restaurants on the resort property, and the first one that we're going to show you is Maury's.
Now, from what we've heard, Maury's has already begun to garner a reputation for being one of Southwest Florida's premier steakhouses, with menu items such as a Chairman's Angus Filet, an Allen Brothers Prime Ribeye, and even a 36-ounce Tomahawk Grand Western Ribeye. In addition to a beautiful dining room and bar area, Maury's does offer an abundance of outdoor seating as well for those who prefer fresh air and waterfront views.
Now, the second to last of the signature restaurants is the Italian spot known as Stretto. It has really nice views of the harbor and the bridge. We'll show you a little more of it now before we take you up to the rooftop.
We found the interior of Stretto to be elegant yet light and bright, with plenty of spots for dining inside and out, as well as a bar with both inside and outside seating. But like Maury's, we unfortunately didn't have the time to eat at Stretto during our stay, but we can confirm that their menu looked pretty amazing. Now that we've shown you nearly all of the Sunseeker, there's just one spot left on this resort to show you.
Now that we've shown you the ground level shopping and restaurants, it's time to grab some food, a drink, and show you the best views on the entire resort at the Level Blue Rooftop.
Now, the front portion of the Level Blue Rooftop is where you'll find the bar with places to eat, a lounging area with fire pits, and part of the largest rooftop pool in all of Florida. While this section of the roof is accessible to the public, the portion which we'll show you a little bit later is only for those who are staying at the resort. But before we show you what that exclusive section of the rooftop has to offer, we're going to grab some food and a drink. We found the menu at Level Blue to offer more options than we were expecting, with a variety of salads and snacks, sushi and poke bowls, tacos and flatbreads, and craft sandwiches all available to order.
So I ordered the Above the Bleach Sky. It has Buffalo Trace Bourbon, Aperol, Passion Fruit, and Lemon, and I am very excited to try it.
Pretty much.
Whoa, that is good. Holy cow.
Now, while we can't say our food order elicited quite the reaction that Skylar's drink did, we both found our orders to be quite tasty.
My Thai chicken flatbread looks really good, but these views look even better. That's good. It actually has quite a bit of spice to it.
Really?
Yeah, you're gonna like it.
And I ordered the Cuban with a side of fresh fruit. So I really like the bread on this Cuban. It's crispy on the outside and soft in the middle. Overall, it's a really solid Cuban, but I do agree with Jamie that the view is even better.
And as good as those views are from this end of the pool, the section reserved for Sunseeker guests had them beat, especially at sunset. And if these sunset views alone aren't enough to make you book a trip to the Sunseeker right now, those views from this massive infinity hot tub just might be. Now, we could go on and on about the views from this rooftop both day and night, but sometimes you just have to let the footage speak for itself. As we show you a few more of these amazing rooftop views, we do have to mention that the only thing that this resort is really missing in our eyes is a beach. But fortunately, you don't have to travel too far from the Sunseeker to find several of Florida's most beautiful beaches, and you can see our top 10 beaches in this area by clicking here right now. Thanks for watching!